affiliates, more than a dozen just in the last few weeks. I need to mention some of those today. So it's probably important for you to introduce yourself to folks so they know who you are. And then let's get into, in this interview, to what I mentioned in the first little short segment. What is the mindset of the Illuminati? What is their goal? What are some of the top families? And where are they taking our planet? But Fritz, and then while you're mentioning the West Point thing, as I guess you sent this to my producers, I wasn't aware of it, photos of you at West Point doing military training. It is some important point you want to make in general. So we'll raise those photos for Prisonplanet.tv viewers and radio listeners whenever you're ready. So Fritz, you've got the floor. Go ahead.
Well, people can go to my blog and read some about me. That's one way of getting a little introduction. Another little introduction right here at the time is I'm a follower of Christ, and that's what's important in my life. It's not about me, it's about Christ. And yeah, I have had a very unusual life where I was exposed to a lot of different things, living overseas, traveling overseas, had a father who wanted to save the world by going to third world countries and developing their agriculture. And like you said, I went to West Point, and as you were saying there, I was concerned about the things that I was seeing when I was in the military, and I didn't feel comfortable being in the military with the mindset that I saw around me. So I resigned, and some people thought it was a reaction to having been in the military that I turned around and joined the Amish, but it wasn't that. It was that I was looking for something that was outside of the system, and it's hard to find anything that wants to live a good life, good, clean life, and that's not involved with the system. And so I was outside of the system for a little while I was Amish, and then I felt called by God to come back and warn people about what was going on. And so that's what I've been doing these last few decades is warning people, just like yourself, except the last decade was spent mostly in a POW camp while you were out here continuing the good fight. So that explains a little bit about myself. But again, like I say, it's not about me, it's about Christ. And then the truth of what I'm saying. One of the things that they try to do to shut me up is they try to tarnish the reputation of the messenger. And as you know, you've been out there, you know how people come out of the woodwork to say all kinds of crazy things about you. It's not about me. Look at the truth of what I'm saying. Look at the documentation. Research these things for yourself, people, and you'll start seeing it all makes sense, and you'll start putting the pieces together for yourself. I'm not asking you to take my word for it.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier, is that when I first read some of your books more than a decade ago, a lot of it I could confirm because I'd done separate research, but some of it sounded so far out. But over time, I would separately, even in establishment publications, find large pieces that added to it. And now, as my understanding's gotten deeper, that's how the globalists see it. We're asleep, they're awake, they are programming the subconscious, and they're trying to create a totally fake, false reality so they can deceive people. And that's what you were talking about decades ago. So let's get into it. Crystallizing it for new listeners. What is the Illuminati? Who are they? Who do they serve? What do they want? What makes them tick? And then let's go over some of the families.
Okay. Some people kind of cringe when they hear that word Illuminati, like this is a word that they really don't, some conspiracy nut is using or something. This is their own terminology. When I started trying to help people that were trying to escape from the Illuminati, members that had been teamed together, that was their term for it. That's the term that they normally use. Now, in rituals, they may use terms like the family or the circle, don't break the circle. They may use other words, but the term Illuminati is the word that they use themselves, and its meaning is that they believe that they have been illumined to godhood, that they are gods, and of course, we're the little peons. They're the pharaohs, and we're the serfs, and that's their mentality. They're in a class above us. We're more or less subhuman, and their a lot of what goes on is a consequence of that view right there. And they've had that view for many thousands of years. This isn't something that's just come about overnight. They have a plan. This plan is an agenda, and we've been in a great transition in recent years to bring the entire world under the control of the beast computer, which is linked to the internet. So you'll notice that there's been an increasing...
And by the way, they really call it over in Europe, they really call that particular computer system the worldwide beast, and it's a standardized global system. In fact, from Davos yesterday, Homeland Security put out a press release and talks about the global centralized computer database to buy and sell. That was in a press release yesterday, sorry. Exactly. So this one world mind, we're all becoming pulled into it. The computers that we have, the PCs, the big ones that are on our desks, those are going to be obsolete in a few years. We're going to have these handheld devices in our hands that won't even need memory, because storing memory is going to be redundant. You're going to have these broadband, such good broadband devices that you can tap into the world mind instantly. But the globalists can then also erase whatever they want instantly, and that brings total control. Exactly. So we're all being sucked into this one world mind, one global government, where we're all going to be like little adjuncts, little fingers of this beast, and little cells of this beast. We're just going to be, as they used to say, cogs in a machine, you know, and it's becoming increasingly that way. But a lot of us are considered worthless eaters. And so there's been a number of written agendas. You know, Henry Kissinger had one, but there's many others where they have outlined on paper and sometimes publicly came out with these things where they want to get rid of a large share of us, genocide. So death is at the heart of their agenda. Boy, that's true. And you can look at it from several different directions. You can say, well, these people, the evil that they're doing would require them to justify their actions by being Satanist, or you could look at it the other way and say, because they're Satanists, they have these agendas. But either way you want to look at it, their Gnostic philosophy that is... Yeah, they don't see themselves as Satanists. They think Lucifer's God. They think it's very beautiful. Yes, they have a lot of high-level rituals and very sophisticated rituals that go back to antiquity. They still carry out some of the same rituals that were done in ancient Egypt by the pharaohs, and rituals that go back to ancient Babylon. The names that they give themselves, their ritual names and everything, go back to the ancient gods, the ancient mystery religions. Intriguing. We're coming back, and I'm going to attempt to sit back. I want you to go through this. Go through any of the gods, the names, and again, more of who they are, what they are, where they want to take us, how we can defeat them. Fritz Springmeier is our guest. If you want his book, back in print, big time, it's available one place. Infowars.com or 888-253-3139.
When's the last time you...
Going back to researcher Fritz Springmeier, really amazing books. We are, of course, selling Bloodlines, the Illuminati. I've read some of his other books. Only a few of the others are in print. Find out more at Infowars.com. This is a short segment, long segment coming up, Fritz. I want to give the number out for later in the hour for people that have questions for you. But please, so we can get to several callers, 5 or 6 callers, folks. Just have your quick question ready so Fritz can answer it or give you his take. 800-259-9231, 1-800-259-9231. We'll also have some financial questions for Bob Chapman coming up. This will be the first of many more interviews we do with Fritz. We had him on a few times back in November. Now he's back with us. Okay, Fritz, continuing in this short segment with the mindset, you were getting into their rituals, going back to Babylon, back to Egypt. Okay, great. I'm going to take this kind of in a direction that's going to answer several of the questions that you had. We had a scandal that took place in Belgium, the Dutroux affair, and the Europeans discovered that the Belgian government was involved in satanic rituals and pedophilia. This all involves the mindset of the elite. And there was a humongous scandal. About 110 people were assassinated to keep a lid on it. Now, here in the United States, we had the Kennedy assassination. We had 9/11. Those are entry points for people to learn that something's wrong. But even closer to the heart of things was this Dutroux affair, where they actually discovered the satanic connection to all of this. Because a lot of people realize, Wall Street has a lot of power. These people, the big mucky mucks, they go to places like the Bohemian Grove. But like when you were in the Bohemian Grove, you notice that there's something else going on here, It's not like these people are just atheists that don't have a religious side to them. When you saw cremation to care, you're beginning to get a window that there's something more to these people, right? So the scandal exposed the satanic side of this, and how the governments in Europe were protecting this huge network of child slavery and child prostitution. They would have pink ballets in this castle that I exposed. And so the book that you've been presenting to people, Bloodlines of Illuminati, that came out in 95, it was the first place where the public got a real good look at that Mother of Darkness castle. That's like a headquarters for the female branch of the Illuminati. That's where the grand dames like Bill Clinton's lower than Hillary Clinton in the Illuminati. Hillary Clinton becoming a grand dame, that means that she would travel to this castle and do rituals. And the castle was also used for murdering children they have rituals there. And by the way, this is the reason they came after you so much. And separately, it's now come out in the news that Hillary does weird rituals. Same thing with Tony Blair. Francois Mitterrand had admitted does worship Lucifer. Had that pyramid at the Louvre built with 666 pieces of pink glass. Tony Blair reportedly, this is mainstream British news, flops around and is possessed by the spirit of light every morning, flopping around and goes to sacred sites worldwide. I mean, these are complete lunatics.
Yes, this is the hidden side of it all. We see the nice, good front where the press shows these people as in their suits and ties and looking intelligent and wise.